Hello, my little mathematicians. Today, I'm going to help you get started on your changing fractions to decimals and decimals to fraction homework. Okay, so you'll notice that sometimes they'll give you the decimal and you have to change it to a fraction or mixed number, and other times they'll give you the fraction and you have to change it to a decimal. And please note that it is two sides. Okay, first off, let's do these two. Okay, so I'll do 2 where you have to change it from a decimal to a fraction, and then I'll do a fraction to decimal. All right, well, when it's a decimal, if it's one number after the decimal, you know it's that over 10. If there's 2 numbers after the decimal, it's that over 100. And if there's 3 numbers after the decimal, it's that over 1,000. And then you just reduce the fraction. So for instance, let's do these two right here. Okay. Is this going to be 12 over 100 or 12 over 1,000? It's going to be 12 over 100 because it's 12 hundredths, right? Now, what do you do with that whole number in front? It just stays out in front as a whole number. So a decimal is like a fraction. It's a fractional amount, right? A whole number is still a whole number. So now that I have that, I just look to see if I can reduce it. Well, they're even, so I know that 2 can go into both. Okay, so 3 stays 3 out in front, but 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 100 divided by 2 is 50. Okay, am I done? No, because these are both even, so I can divide it again. And 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 50 divided by 2 is 25. Okay, so now I have 3 and 3/25, okay, as my final answer. All right, let's look at this one. This one is in the hundredth spot, right? That 5's in the hundredth spot. There's 2 numbers after the decimal, which means there's 2 zeros. That's also a nifty trick. 1 number after the decimal, it's 1 0, so 7/10. 2 numbers after the decimal, so in the hundredth spot, 2 zeros. Okay, so 5 hundredths. Can I reduce that? Yeah, by 5. Well, 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. So you have 1/20th. All right, I'm going to leave the rest for you to do in terms of decimals to fractions, but I'm going to leave that one too. Let's look at the back. Okay, let's do one of these fractions to decimals. There's 2 ways that you can do this. You can do the way that always works, top divided by the bottom. Okay, so you do 5 into 3. Remember, in and out, in and out. That's what a hamburger is all about. So inside the house, outside the house. Well, 5 can't go into 3, so I add a decimal and a 0. 3.0 is the same thing as 3, so I can do that. But now I can do 5 into 30, which is 6. And look at that, it went in perfectly beautifully. So 3/5 is the same thing as 0.6. And I found that by doing long division, which sometimes you have to do. But sometimes there's also a shortcut. If you can get the denominator to become 10 or 100, which I can do here, 5 times what is 10? 2. Do the same thing to the numerator, multiply it by 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Now you have 6/10, and we know that 6/10 is 0.6. So you could do it that way. But unfortunately, not all denominators can become 10 or 100 or 1,000. So then you would have to do long division. And that's why it's good to know this way. This way always works. This way sometimes works. And when this way does work, sure, as long as you show me how you got to the 10, 100, 1,000 denominator and what you did to get the numerator, I'm fine with you jumping straight from here to there. All right. But when that doesn't work, then you're going to need to show me the long division. Okay. All right. You got this. Go ahead and finish. You should know by the end of this how to change fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions.